Hello, Sharon Hurst here again. Welcome back to the studio. I wanted to just have a chat with you about paintings and the stories behind the paintings. There's a saying, isn't there, that every picture tells a story, and I think as artists and as authors we all need to be thinking about that and how we're putting that into what we're creating. And every single picture I have has its own story. Whatever it is, even down to a rose hanging from a pergola, it's there, it's loving nature, it's loving the sunshine, it's been fed and nurtured, and it's there. Therefore, if we can engage our viewers and draw them in with either a very, very good title, and that's important. If you've got a good title and that is in a catalogue at an exhibition and you read that, what on earth is all this about? And maybe then you'd go and you'd have a look, you see. So this is the important thing. Reel people in with a good title. If you couldn't think of something and you'd called your painting Unnamed Number One, oh, yawn. I mean, if you're so bored that you can't even think of a decent title for your picture, can you imagine how interested I'm going to be when I look at it on a wall in a gallery? So think about something enigmatic and exciting. If you've got a character like this lassie here, this is the Morrigan, she's a goddess, and she's a Celtic goddess, and she's quite a woman, I'll tell you. Bit of a man-eater actually. So therefore she's dressed like this, and this gives you the whole story, who she is, the crows, goddess of the crows. Here we have the crows and the feathers in her hair. The story is important. You need it to engage somebody. Try to look at your picture and have a think about who that is in your picture. What are they doing? Why are they doing it? How are they doing it, and who are they doing it with? And if you pull those things in, you'll find that suddenly you're creating this whole world around your people or whatever it is that you're painting. You know, your flowers in the hedgerow, are they in the hedgerow or are they in the field? Or are they actually in the garden? Why are they there? Are they wild? Did somebody plant them? Were they planted with love? So what's around them? Just think about it and why your picture is going to be as it is. And that will give you the title. I mean, sometimes you work to the title, you get the good idea in your head, and then you have to create the picture around that name and that phrase. If it's a song, think about the song. What happens in it? How does it happen? Why? How are you going to pull all those elements in? So I've got a few examples for you here. If you'd like to follow me through, we'll go through them together, and maybe when we come out the other end you'll have an idea of what makes me tick. Be interested to hear your thoughts on that. Alright then, see you in a minute. This particular painting is rather special. I've literally just finished her. She's still on the drawing board amidst all the mess and the palaver, and it's taken me quite a while to paint it to feel able to want to talk about it. But this was a particular day when I had been out travelling, just exploring. We were on holiday, and I'd gone to visit a castle, and I'd been to this particular place called Manorbier. It's a very strange way to spell it and to say it. Manorbier Castle, and it's here in the distance. And I'd been to visit, had a look round all the walls, clambered about, walked around, been nosy, all the nooks and crannies, I love all that. And somebody mentioned that up on the top of the hill, at the top of the bay, there was a huge cromlech. This is the old standing stone that you see here. A cromlech. And it's generally a huge mound of stones, one big capstone, standing on 2, 3, 4 others. And it was a burial site. Generally, somebody was in underneath and then they would cover it all over with soil and it would become one of these mounds that we see so often around the English countryside. And the stones are still there. And I clambered all the way up the path and walked up to the top of the bay and sat up here and had a look. And knowing that it was a funeral site, they don't know whether it was originally a male or a female, but they know that whoever it was, they were of high caste, they were important because they were buried with important things, armour and jewellery. And I picked some flowers on my way and I took them up with me, some campions and a few daisies and bits and pieces. And I took them along with me and I laid them underneath the stones. And I sat there for quite a while and I watched the world go by. It was not a bright day. It was one of these typical English days when you've got a bit of sunshine coming through the clouds, but quite grey. But the sea was very, very, very flat. And I sat there and I just watched it all happening and took in the peace and the quiet. It was beautiful. And when it was time to walk back down the hillside again, I walked down this path that you see here, and it takes quite a steep turn downwards. And as I walked down the path, on my left-hand side, on my shoulder, my skin began to prickle. And I was uncomfortable. And I stopped and I looked back because I thought for a minute that it may have been a walker, another walker, or perhaps it was a cyclist, because cyclists were going up and down this track like maniacs. And I didn't want to get run over, so I stopped to look back and to see what was going on. Nothing, absolutely nothing, nothing. But I absolutely knew that I had somebody there on my left shoulder walking back down the track behind me on the seaside. And it was a really, really steep drop down there to the rocks below. And as I walked, I kept going. I had this definite feeling that it was a woman, and she was walking between me and the water just behind me, and I had an escort away from the stones. And part of me would like to think that it was either the warrior woman who was there buried in the stones, or maybe it was the warrior's woman who had walked me down for safety because she just wanted to say thank you for me having been and taken the flowers. What's your take on it? What do you think? This painting is one of my favourite songs, although it's taken me ages and ages to actually paint it. Brother Up in Heaven. A true story about brothers. One went to Afghanistan and fought in the war and was shot down by friendly fire. And the song is the remaining brother, his lament, and he's saying, "Brother up in heaven, please wait up for me. Why should men with so much hate destroy what they cannot create, whilst we all stand by?" And it's his loss, and he's missing his beloved brother. And perhaps unbeknownst to him, his brother is there looking after him and caring for him, and maybe he's an angel. Sad story, but I just very, very badly needed to paint it. Here we are with another story. You're looking here at a valley, sunset, and the skeleton of a huge, huge dragon. And we know it's huge because my traveller is here with the dragon. He's just here. And he's this little teeny tiny character, only small. And that's what gives me the huge size of the dragon skeleton. But the title of the painting is "What Happened, My Friend?" And as he's standing there with his hand on the skull, he's trying to imagine what's happened to this big Leviathan. Obviously, they knew each other and they were friends. And I'd like you as the viewer to look at this and to imagine the story for yourself. What happened, my friend?